Hello, everyone. Welcome back to ShadowSpeak English. I'm Amy, and today I want to talk about something that almost everyone thinks about, but not everyone talks about openly. Dreams. Goals. The life we imagine for ourselves. Tell me if this sounds familiar. Have you ever looked at someone successful and thought, wow, they really figured out life? Or maybe you've stayed awake late at night imagining your future, the job you want, the house you want, the places you want to visit, the person you hope to become. I think most of us have done that. But here's something I've learned. Having a dream is exciting. Chasing a dream is difficult. And sometimes, the hardest part isn't failing. It's continuing when progress feels invisible. Today's episode is called Dreams and Goals, the Journey Nobody Talks About. And I want to ask you a simple question. What dream are you working toward right now? Maybe it's a better career. Maybe it's learning a new skill. Maybe it's starting a business. Maybe it's simply becoming a happier and more confident version of yourself. Whatever it is, I hope today's story reminds you that you're not alone on that journey. So grab a coffee, get comfortable, and let's talk about dreams, goals, and the reality of chasing them. And today's phrase is, stay the course. What do you think it means? Keep listening because we'll reveal the answers later. When I was younger, I thought success would be simple. I believed that if I worked hard enough, everything would happen exactly the way I planned. At 12 years old, I wanted to become a writer. At 15, I wanted to travel the world. At 18, I had an entirely different vision for my future. And honestly, every version of me believed she had everything figured out. It's funny looking back now, because life rarely follows our plans. When we're young, dreams feel clear. We imagine ourselves becoming successful, confident, and happy. We imagine arriving at some magical destination where everything finally makes sense. But adulthood teaches us something surprising. Success is not a destination. It's a process. And sometimes that process is messy. Very messy. There are setbacks, delays, mistakes, moments when you question everything. Moments when you wonder if your dream is even worth pursuing anymore. And yet, those moments are often where the real growth happens. One of the biggest challenges when chasing a dream is comparison, especially today. Everywhere we look, someone appears to be doing better than us. Someone is earning more money. Someone is traveling more. Someone is getting promoted. Someone is building a business. Someone is buying a house. Someone is achieving the exact thing we're still working toward. And if we're not careful, comparison can quietly steal our motivation. I've experienced this myself. There were times when I looked at other people and thought, why are they moving forward faster than me? What am I doing wrong? Maybe I'm not talented enough. But here's what I've learned. You are seeing their highlight reel, not their struggles, not their failures, not the nights they spent doubting themselves, not the sacrifices they made. We compare our behind-the-scenes reality to someone else's best moments. And that's never a fair comparison. Everyone's journey moves at a different pace. The goal isn't to be ahead of everyone else. The goal is to keep moving forward. Nobody talks enough about these days. The difficult days. The discouraging days. The days when nothing seems to work. The days when you put in effort and see absolutely no results. Those are the days that test your commitment. Because motivation is wonderful. But motivation doesn't show up every day. Discipline does. There were moments when I felt stuck. Moments when progress felt invisible. Moments when I questioned whether I should continue. And honestly, Sometimes I wanted to quit. Not because I didn't care, because I cared so much. When something matters deeply to you, failure hurts more. Disappointment feels heavier. But I discovered something important. Most successful people aren't successful because they never wanted to quit. They're successful because they kept going anyway. They stayed the course, even when progress was slow, even when nobody noticed, even when results didn't appear immediately. And that's where dreams become reality. Not during exciting moments, during ordinary days. One mistake many people make is believing they need giant progress. But giant progress is rare. Most dreams are built through tiny actions repeated consistently. A page written every day. A workout completed every morning. A skill practiced every evening. A habit repeated over and over. At first, those actions seem insignificant, almost invisible. But over time, they create extraordinary results. Think about a tree. You don't see it grow every day. Yet years later, it's completely transformed. People are similar. Growth often happens quietly, without dramatic moments, without applause, without recognition. That's why patience matters, because many people quit right before their progress becomes visible. And that's a tragedy. For a long time, I thought success meant achieving every goal. I believed success was something waiting for me somewhere in the future. A destination. A finish line. A moment where I could finally say, "That's it, I made it." And honestly, I think a lot of people believe that. We tell ourselves, "I'll be happy when I get that promotion. I'll feel successful when I earn more money. Life will finally make sense when I achieve this one big goal." But the older I get, the more I realize something surprising. Life doesn't work that way. Because every time we reach a goal, another one appears. You graduate from school. Then you want a job. You get the job. Then you want a better position. You achieve that. Then you want more stability, more freedom, more opportunities. The destination keeps moving. And if we're not careful, we spend our entire lives chasing the next thing without appreciating how far we've already come. That's why I see success differently now. Success isn't only about reaching the destination. Success is becoming the person capable of reaching it. Think about that for a moment. Imagine two people standing at the same finish line. Both achieved the same goal. But one person learned patience, resilience, discipline, and confidence during the journey. The other person only focused on the outcome. Who gained more? I'd say the first person did. Because goals can disappear. Achievements can fade. But personal growth stays with you. The confidence you build. The resilience you develop after setbacks. The lessons you learn from mistakes. The courage you discover during difficult moments. Those things become part of who you are. And nobody can take them away from you. I think about the younger version of myself sometimes. The version that wanted everything to happen quickly. The version that thought success should be immediate. If I could talk to that person today, I'd probably say, "Slow down. You're growing even when it doesn't feel like it. You're learning things that will help you later." Because growth is often invisible while it's happening. Just like a tree doesn't become tall overnight. Just like a sunrise doesn't happen all at once. Life changes slowly. People change slowly. And sometimes we don't notice our own progress until we stop and look back. That's why I believe the real reward isn't the achievement itself. It's the person you become while working toward it. Because goals eventually change. Dreams evolve. Life changes. but who you become during the journey stays with you forever. And maybe that's the most beautiful part of chasing a dream. Not the applause, not the recognition, not even the achievement. The growth, the wisdom, the strength, the person waiting for you on the other side of the journey. And honestly, I think that's a version of yourself worth meeting. If you're currently chasing a dream, I want you to remember something. You don't need to have everything figured out. In fact, very few people do. Sometimes we look at successful people and assume they always knew exactly what they were doing. But most of the time, they were simply taking one step at a time, learning as they went, making mistakes, adjusting their plans, and continuing forward. You don't need perfect timing. You don't need the perfect opportunity. And you definitely don't need perfect confidence. I think a lot of people wait for confidence before they begin. But confidence rarely arrives first. Usually, confidence comes after action, after trying, after failing, after getting back up again. What you need is the willingness to take the next step. Just one step, not 10, not 100, just the next one. Because that's how every journey happens. One step, then another, and eventually, those small steps take you somewhere you never imagined. The truth is, progress is often slower than we want. We live in a world that celebrates overnight success stories. But what we don't see are the years of effort behind them. The early mornings, the late nights, the moments of doubt, the quiet work that nobody applauded. Sometimes you're much closer to your goal than you realize. Sometimes the breakthrough is happening beneath the surface, even when you can't see it yet. Think about a seed planted in the ground. For a long time, nothing seems to happen. No visible results, no signs of growth. But underneath the soil, something important is taking place. Roots are forming. Strength is developing. Preparation is happening. And then one day, growth finally becomes visible. People are often the same way. And when your moment finally comes, you'll realize something. Every difficult day mattered. Every setback taught you something valuable. Every mistake helped you grow. Every small step contributed to the bigger picture. Nothing was wasted. Not the struggles. Not the delays. Not even the failures. Because all of it was shaping you into the person capable of achieving that dream. So if you're feeling discouraged today, keep going. Your next step might be smaller than you'd like, but it's still moving you forward. And sometimes, that's all you need. Coming back to today's phrase, stay the course, means continuing toward your goal even when things become difficult. Before we finish today's episode, I want you to think about one question. What dream have you been carrying for a long time? And, more importantly, what's one small step you can take toward that dream this week? Not next month. Not next year. This week. Because big goals are achieved through small actions. Thank you so much for spending this time with me here on ShadowSpeak English. If today's episode encouraged you, motivated you, or helped you improve your English naturally, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And remember, your dream doesn't need perfect conditions. It simply needs consistent effort. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep moving forward. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye, everyone.